YouTube, and welcome back to Elizabeth Patrice, where we talk about beauty, business, and lifestyle. So guys, today I want to talk to you guys about something that I get inboxed a lot, so I decided to make one video to rule them all, okay? And I don't mind answering your inboxes, but I think this is the number 1 thing, and you may not have requested it, but I'm making a video today to rule them all. If you know where that reference is, go ahead and comment down below and be like, we here, like you get me, I get you, like, we cool. Number 1 thing is fear. Like, people inbox me about fear all the time. Fear to start a business, fear to move, fear to try again, fear to get up, fear to leave their boyfriend, fear to start, a YouTube channel, fear to be themselves, right? And I know that it's because a huge part of my story has to do with fear. Fear paralyzed me and stopped me for many, many years, or would have me quit prematurely. Today I want to give you tips on how to overcome and conquer fear and how to ultimately get back up from a paralyzed state. And so I want to read to you the definition of what fear actually means. Fear means an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatening. And so ultimately, when you're deciding to not make a decision or to go after what you're supposed to do with your life, and fear is paralyzing you, you are intimidated and you believe that it's dangerous, that it could be painful, and that it could be threatening. But it's literally a false image in your mind, because most of the things I've been the most terrified of in life, when I actually did them, have been the most fruitful, have been the most amazing, have been the most beautiful learning lessons and growing seasons of my life. But I viewed them as dangerous, painful, or threatening. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was afraid of the unknown. I didn't have every detail, and it really was like, it's better to sit still and do nothing than to get out there and me get hurt, right? False. It's wrong. Like, it is a false perspective, and it will cause you years of your life. Trust me, I know. So the number 1 way to track and stop fear is to know where fear entered your life, okay? So I went back and I started to study my life, my childhood. There was a season in my childhood, like, I was born fearless, right? God didn't create us with the spirit of fear, and so I was born into the earth, like, flipping off the couches and just, trying a bunch of stuff, and they'd have to tell me to sit down and be quiet all the time. No, don't do that. Oh my gosh, don't go there. They still have to tell me sometimes, just to be real, don't go there at night, don't go over here, because I don't think in a mindset of fear. So I had to go back to where fear entered. I had to go to the age where I started to become afraid, when I started to have nightmares, and I had to examine what happened in my life at that time so that I could uproot it and get it gone, so that I could pray specific prayers, so that I could get specific healing from things that happened in my life. And so you really need to go back to where fear entered your life and how did it. Did someone speak fear into your life? Did someone speak fear over you? Did someone teach you to be afraid? For many of you, that may be the cause. Someone taught you to be afraid. And so you need to go unteach yourself and get healing from the teaching and the ingraining of fear in your soul, not just the thought process. It's like literally embedded in you now. And so you need to get deliverance and you need to get healing from that space. Number 2 is that now that you've gotten free from that, you need to also clear out fearful people that speak to you, okay? So a lot of times when I'm in the midst of doing something that's never been done before, even a new business venture, I used to go like Joseph and tell everybody, oh my God, God said he's gonna do this in my life, and I'm so excited. Oh my God, I can't believe that he's gonna, like, what? This is crazy. And then I would be met with,
what do you mean? Huh? What do you think you're doing? No, that's not gonna happen. And I can't see it that way. And I never heard that about you. And I'm just looking at what you do in your life right now, and that doesn't seem like it lines up. And I don't know. And I would never be able to. I would never be able to go to that country. I would never be able to start that business. You're gonna waste a lot of time and a lot of money, and
so those conversations really do give your mind something to wander and meditate on. And I found found that the more that I had conversation with people that weren't giving me wise counsel, but were really speaking their fears into my life, I was creating a space for the enemy to speak to me even more. And so there would be like little whispers in my head as I was working on my new website. Like,
oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, who qualified me? Oh, right?
all of that. So I had to cut it out. And so people, even though it wasn't malicious on their end, like especially if people were like, I would never be able to do that, right? They're just speaking the truth. But I would not have those kind of engaging conversations with them because guess what? It was not feeding my faith. It was feeding my fears. Number 3 is you have to feed faith. You cannot expect to walk away from fear and walk into faith and just it be like, you know, this strong, like,
what? I'm strong now.
no, you have to feed it. So you've been feeding your fear for probably most of your life. You need to feed your faith, right? And what does that look like? Feeding it with scriptures, feeding it with the word of God, feeding it with prayer and direct instruction from God, right? So for me, that looked like I used to have a wall in my last place like this. And on that wall is specific scriptures. I don't know if you can see it, but it says be not afraid of their faces, because my major fear was connected to what people thought about me, what people see about me, what they think about me, what they say about me, right? I was afraid of their faces. And so I had to fight that with scripture. There's also scriptures on there for business. There's also scriptures on there for identity. And so I would read those out loud, say them out loud, like affirmations. You could also have separate affirmations, but literally tell yourself you can do it. But by coupling it with the promises of God, you're not just filling a void with good talk, you're actually speaking promises over your life. So pray, fill yourself with the word, and when thoughts come up that are literally opposite of what God said about you, then you can know, not that thought, not today.
You said I'm more than a conqueror. God said that I was not born with a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and a strong mind.
And so, you know, you really put that on and you literally walk it out, okay? So, number four is that you really have to walk it out. And so even if you're doing it terrified, you need to do it terrified. There have been moments, I was building something one time and it was for a client and I was like, I am so far out of my reach. Why am I doing this? This is crazy, Liz. Like, you have lost your mind. Like, why did you offer this to someone? And I was literally shedding a tear while I was doing it, but I moved past it. I said, no.
I will do this today. You told me that I could do this. I have the ability. I am a creator because you are the creator inside of me.
I literally had to keep going and just power through. And after I was finished, I felt really accomplished and I felt like, wow, I could have done this the whole time. What's wrong with you, girl? You
got this, right? What? You God's favorite girl. What? Like, you got this.
So, sometimes you just have to push through. It may hurt. You may be like, part of killing like that part of you that you are so accustomed to is that you're used to it, right? So you have to just push
on through, like, keep going, okay?
So number 5 is that you have to be settled and sober in your decision, okay? So fear likes to take you on a roller coaster.
Rolling with the homies.
So it will take you on a roller coaster and it will make you unsober in your decisions and it will make you unsober in your emotions. And so it will take you on this like, yes, I can do it. No, I can't. Oh my gosh. And that is a pattern of it's holding you. Like, it's really trying to get you to think that you can and then not. And so it's really ultimately paralyzing you. So if you've been thinking about starting a business for 5 years, you've been thinking of going back to school for 10 years, you've been agonizing over a decision for a while, that's because fear has paralyzed you and it wanted you to be that way because your emotions were like, this girl, like that guy, like this sir. Like, it was just all over the place. And so one of the things, because I'm a visual person, that I do, it doesn't help for me to just think about it. I literally write down what my emotions are. That's a process, and then I submit them in prayer to God because I have a clearer picture of what they look like. And so if I feel like this is too big, Jesus, this is like, I never thought this big, I can't possibly do this. Literally, I step out of the place of thinking this is too big, but I write it down. And I write down why I feel that way, right? And then you can be settled. Sixth thing is to know who you're supposed to be. Know your purpose. Know your identity, right? And so I always tell people, I don't feel like identity is a place of arrival. I think that it is an ever growing, there's levels to this. As we grow, as we become more and more who we're supposed to be, we keep becoming more and more who we're supposed to be. And so I feel like even in my life, I have a portion of my destiny. I have a piece of my purpose, right? But once you walk that thing out, there's nothing that the enemy can tell you. There's nothing that a person can tell you that will strip away what God said about you. And so if you are dealing with fear of becoming an entrepreneur, if you're dealing with fear of actually stepping out and being who you're supposed to be, because it looks a little different, or because it's not who you've been, so people aren't used to expecting that from you, you really need to be settled in your heart, mind, will, emotions, that what God says about you is true, that he is not a man that he should lie, that he is God and he loves you, he created you. And so just like he says in Jeremiah about knowing, Jeremiah before he was born in his mother's womb, before he was even formed in her womb, that's how God knows you. And so if you don't know what that is, you might be afraid because you're not assured in the God of all of the universe. And even if you don't understand, you have faith to move because you know he's a good father, and he wouldn't do anything to hurt, harm, or cause you pain, to have it be what they said, dangerous, threatening, all that. He don't do that stuff, guys.
He don't do it.
So I get it, guys. Most of my life, my journey has been somewhere between faith and fear. In between, and sometimes all the way over here and sometimes all the way over there. And so I get it, it's hard. I'm not discounting that it sucks, that you feel like this anxiety, you feel pressure. You may even be sick from fear, honestly. You may need healing from a sickness because it's tied to the level of fear operating in your life. And so I'm not diminishing it at all. I'm not saying it's not a reality. For some of you, it actually is. But the only way to conquer it is to go after it and kick it in the face. That's all I know. And I know because I've tried it, and because I've walked through the painful moments where the unknown was the most terrifying thing in my life. But on the other side of it was great reward. And it's not always about monetary things. It's not always about, that everyone will see you in this great light or that people will understand you. It's that you know that you please the God of heaven. And you know that you pleased your good father. And you know that you tried it. Like you just tried it. And so I would rather you try and fail. I would rather you make a mistake and have to go back and try it again than never try it all. And so if you're sitting there and you're watching this video and you really feel like you need to get up and do it and start this thing, you need to go after it, you need to make changes in your life, I want you to thumbs up this video and I want you to comment. And I want there to be a community of people that decide that they're no longer going to be afraid, they're no longer going to keep silent about the thing that's been paralyzing them, but literally reach out to people in the comment section. I'm going to comment and respond to every single person. And I hope that this video helps. Like I said,
One video to roll them all in the beginning.
and so if you inbox me and you get this video in return, know that I love you and I care about you. But these are my tips, and this is what I would share with you regarding kicking fear in the face.
Cause you got it. You could kick him in the face if you really wanted to. What? You could do it, girlfriend. You can do it, sir. Come on and kick fear in the face.
I worked my whole life for this one. Another one. DJ Khaled. Shining, yeah. All of this winning, I've been losing my mind. Oh, hold on. Don't try to slow me down. Hold on. Don't try to slow me down. And now to make a fool for it. You gon' need money, don't make me happy. And a fella can't make me fancy. Smiling for a whole other reason. It's all stars through all four seasons. Shining, 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 yeah. Shining, yeah. All of this winning, I've been losing my mind.
Yeah.